What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Josh from Ray's Reviews. And now that Season 2 of What If is over, here is my official ranking for all 9 episodes of What If Season 2. Before I get into the ranking, let me know down in the comments what you thought of the season and what was your ranking of the season and what are your overall thoughts of the season. And just let's have a cool conversation about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Spoilers, obviously, for all of Season 2 of Marvel What If, obviously. So last place at number 9, I have What If Peggy Carter Fought the Hydra Stomper. And this episode, while it was action-packed and it was a very good story, the first half just felt very related to what what I kind of had a problem with Season 1, and where Season 1 felt like it wasn't taking too many like outlandish ideas. It wasn't going big enough. And while the first half did feel was the same formula as the first season was, the second half of the episode did make it a little bit better by bringing in the Red Room, bringing in Melina, bringing her as the villain. And overall, it was still a pretty good episode. It was still a very fun episode, but overall, it just didn't hit the same as like the rest of the episodes. It was still a fun episode. Then at number 8, I have What If Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster. Now, this was the lost episode that was supposed to be in Season 1, but apparently due to how like it wasn't done yet, it wasn't ready in time for Season 1 to release, they decided to release it for Season 2. And overall, this was a very fun episode. You could tell that the voice actor who voiced Stark, Mick Eggert, I probably butchered that last name. He absolutely did his own version of Tony Stark, and I absolutely loved it. The banter between him and Gamora was incredible. The whole Mad Max feel of it was really fun. The reason why I have it at number 8 is just because of how, I don't know, how it just felt more like Tony's story than it did Gamora's story. Because while Gamora was supposed to be the main character, she just felt like a side character until the very end of the episode, where she finally turned good and betrayed her father. Then at number 7, I have What If Hela Found the 10 Rings. Now, this episode very much surprised me as how it took Hela's story and made her so different than what her 616 or 1999-99, whichever one you want to go with, counterpart was. And I really enjoyed how Cate Blanchett was able to dive into how Odin kind of tortured her the same way that, not inadvertently, but inadvertently he did with Loki and Thor. And I really liked how Hela broke out of Odin's programming, so to speak. And the fight scenes were pretty good. I just felt like they underutilized Wenwu and Talo overall. Then at number 6, I have What If Strange Supreme Intervened. Now, this finale, I did not expect for Strange to be like the main villain of it. I thought it was going to be him trying to stop some sort of incursion thing, because that's what the 1602 episode was about. But overall, it was still really cool to see him be the villain, him take on a villainous role again, and it was cool to see Captain Carter and Cohorty work together to try to stop Strange. And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, Captain Carter became overpowered. She got too many powers, all that stuff." I just have to say, it's an animated show. You realistically do not have to consider this show canon to the MCU unless they bring Cohorty, Captain Carter, and the Watcher to like the live action stuff. You don't necessarily have to consider the What If show canon. That's all I gotta say to that. But overall, this was a very fun episode. It was very cool to see. It was very good, I guess, wrap up to Peggy's story this season. At number 5, I have What If Nebula Joined the Nova Corps. Now, this episode, I did not expect it to have kind of like a murder mystery-esque vibe to it, like a Blade Runner 2049 vibe to it, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed how Nebula inadvertently created an alternate version of the Guardians of the Galaxy with her, Korg, Meek, Groot, and Howard the Duck, who was the MVP of this episode, who really just absolutely did the most he's ever done in the MCU in general. And just seeing him kind of have some fun, seeing Seth Green do what he does best with Howard the Duck was really good. I really hope that we get a solo Howard the Duck project in the future. That's just something that I feel like I need to see. Even if it's just like an animated project, I want to see that. I want to see Howard the Duck get his own time to shine. But overall, this was a very fun episode. The twist did surprise me with Nova Prime like turning against Nebula, but it was still a fun episode, and it was definitely one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. Then at number 4, I have What If Cohorty Reshaped the World. Now, this was as I said in my review for it, this was the introduction to a brand new original Marvel character that had never been in the comics, never been in the MCU. That was obviously cohorty, and that episode was so much fun, seeing the origin of a new hero, of a new character that ever exists. I really hope that we see her in live action. I hope that we see her in the comics, because there's just something about her character that makes her so interesting. And seeing how she's empowered with the Space Stone, how she's able to use telekinesis, she's able to jump super high, she's able to be a speedster. I think that was really cool, and I think you can do a lot of stuff with that. And overall, just seeing how she was able to save her village and save her people and inspire the other people of the Sky World to come into the fight and be the colonizer and all that stuff. It was a very good episode. Definitely one of my favorites. Then at number 3, I have What If Happy Hogan Saved Christmas. This was the first Christmas episode that we got of What If, and it starred our good boy Happy Hogan. It brought back Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer, who I know a lot of people have been wanting to return, and I think this was a good way to bring him back into the MCU, and I do hope that we see him in like Armor Wars and stuff. And just seeing Happy Hogan become a Hulk, specifically the Freak, that was something I never thought was going to happen, but I'm really glad that it did. And just seeing the Avengers be in Christmas outfits was really fun. And I kind of hope that like with Happy, we get to see more Happy of him being like the Freak in like the comics, or like even maybe in like a World War Hulk scenario, Happy shows up and he becomes the Freak in live action. I honestly think that would be a really cool idea. Then at number 2, I have What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602. Now, this episode was an ensemble episode. It brought so many characters. I think this episode was the most characters we've gotten in a single episode since Endgame, since Infinity War and Endgame, because we have so many characters. We had Steve, Bucky, and Scott be like the Robin Hood and his merry men. We had Thor be the king. We had Loki be like the kind of like the theater person. We had Scarlet Witch be the Merlin of that universe. And seeing how like that universe was facing an incursion, it definitely gives us as fans some insight as to how incursions are possibly going to work for the future of the MCU, which I do think is going to be really interesting to see. And overall, it was just really fun seeing all these 1602 versions of the Avengers, with Hulk saying to Happy as the Freak, "Shut thy mouth." I think that was just really fun to see. And overall, this was just a very fun episode, and I absolutely loved the action sequences. And then obviously, number 1, I have What If Peter Quill Attacked Earth's Mightiest Heroes. This was one of my most anticipated episodes when the trailer came out and like going into the season, and this episode did not disappoint. It just opened so many doors for what a potential spin-off show could be following that team of Avengers. Ego the Living Planet was a very good villain. It was cool to see Kurt Russell return to play that character, and seeing this version of the Avengers team is so cool because it opens the opportunity for new dynamics to open up, and actually gives me an idea for a possible pitch that I might work on within the next maybe 1 or 2 months. I know, in fact, it's going to be one of the first pitches I do for the monthly pitch series. But overall, this episode was my favorite. It felt like an Avengers film, seeing Goliath, Thor, King T'Chaka, Black Panther, the Winter Soldier, Ant-Man, and Marvel all work together to try to stop Ego and Peter Quill. It was really fun, and I honestly do hope that this eventually does lead into like a possible like spin-off show that follows this team of Avengers coming together and working together to stop other threats. And there you have it. That is my ranking of all 9 episodes of What If Season 2. If I had to give an overall ranking of this season, I'd give it a solid 9. Well, no, not 9. A solid 8.5. Because there were some episodes, as I said, that were better than others. And overall, this season was very good. And this is now the end of the MCU for 2023. The first project we have of the MCU will be the Echo Show, which is gonna come out in like 12 days now, and I'm really excited for what's gonna happen in the future. Overall, in terms of where I rank this season on the Phase 5 tier list, I give it a solid S. This was definitely one of my favorites. It's on the same level as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Loki Season 2. If anything, I'll post a little image here that shows like my at the moment, my tier list ranking of Phase 5 at the current moment, include with What If in it. But overall, it was a very good season. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with Season 3, which could possibly air next year. I don't know, maybe because of that clip that we got yesterday. But let me know down in the comments what you thought of this season overall. Let me know what you thought it was your favorite episode. What were your positives? What were your negatives? Let's have a good discussion down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you never miss another one of my videos. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Joshua from Reyes Reviews, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.